or what do you hope to see tonight?
He's been solid down there, according to their coaches and some people who have watched him. Wanted to get him in an opportunity here, and he's played both sides, which is positive for us. That will we've been talking about finding him an opportunity, and the injury to Manning allows us to do that.
Dave, I know you guys want to bounce back after that San Jose game, but at the other end of the rink, Nathan McKinnon's been lights out. How do you go about stopping a guy like that, and what kind of challenge does he present to your team tonight?
Well, you just watch him. He's a good player. I've had him in the World Championships and the World Cup, and he's a real good player. I mean, he's a dynamic player, so you got to be aware of him. It's not one guy or any tactic against them. Our team's got to play well because we didn't play well the other night. We've got to bounce back and have a good team effort. You recognize who you're out against. You recognize who you're playing, but our team has to concentrate on how we're going to play, and hopefully we don't let a player like that on the other team beat us.
Dave, back to Caleb Jones for a second. He comes to camp this year, and he's kind of the overall favorite to win a spot in the team, and Ethan Bear basically wins that spot right from him. And goes back down. He's over 100 games in the minors now. He's been up and down. He's been there for a while. Is this a guy that's maybe ready to, in the right position to come up here and help and maybe stick?
We'll see. That's why he's here, right? In camp, he was okay in camp, not great. I thought Bear was ahead of him in camp. Pearson started out well in camp, but to Jones's credit, he's gone down there and played really well, and he's played both sides. One of the things I talked to him about in camp, the things we liked about him, is his versatility. He has played the left and right side, and that's, you know how I am like that. I like to see lefts and rights, and I think there's only a few players that, to me, it's about foot positioning and getting yourself in position to make plays and defend, and he has some of those abilities, so it lends to the ability to have him play on the offside. So he's gone down there. He's had a good start to the season. He's earned his look here, and we have Larson about a week away, possibly a little more, but it was an opportunity to get him in and just see where he's at, and I'm hoping he comes in and plays real well. I mean, that's basically the same thing that happened with Bear. He got put in positions where you're going to put on games and get some minutes and see how it goes, and so ultimately it's up to the player to play well, and if he does, he forces our hand.
Dave, Archibald moving up with Nugent Hopkins and Neal, and then you put Haas and Nygaard back. You're just looking to kind of maybe spread out the speed, or what's your thoughts with
speed? We need a little more speed, and trying to spread some of that out a little bit. I thought as poor as we were as a group in San Jose, the line of Sheehan and JJ and Archibald, especially Archibald, had good jump in that game, was around a lot of chances. So just trying to put a little speed on each line. Nygaard came back and the lineup was just okay. You could tell he'd been out for a while. He still has that tenacity and speed that I like, so we're going to keep building on him. Haas will draw back in, but trying to put a little speed on each line, and we'll see how it goes from there.
So, Dave, how do you scout a goaltender who's almost never played in the NHL? Is that up to Dustin Schwartz to look at one videotape and say, okay, here's how we beat him? Nobody beat him last.
That's exactly it. Goaltenders, I let the goaltenders tell me about goaltenders. It's, I guess the top guys, but when you don't know a player like this, we'll depend on Schwartz's view on him, and our players will be well aware of him, and then we go from there.
So do you tell your players, though,
no,
just keep shooting from
no,
everywhere?
No. You never disparage anybody, because that comes back to bite you. You have a game plan around making sure that playing well and getting lots of pucks to the net, but you would never say anything about a player on the other team that you think is good or bad or whatever.
Dave, you talked about the immaturity of this team a couple of nights ago. How do you, as a collective, grow and mature, and what do you need to see specifically tonight to see that this group is on their way?
Is to play better. We're 20 games in. I think we've had 2 or 3 games like that one there, and every team goes through games like that, but it's how you react in the game. How can you win a game even though you're maybe not at your best. I mean, those are things that it's too easy just to say it's just not our night, let's just move on. That drives me crazy. Have the ability to recognize situations and find ways to win when you're not at your best, find ways to get yourself back in a game when the other team is playing real well. I mean, those are things that real good, mature teams have a better understanding of that, and we want to get to that point. We're not there yet, right? And out of 20 games, hey, you might have one bad one. You can't have 3 or 4 bad ones, right? And if you want to be a good team, and that's what I meant by it. We've got some growing to do as a group. That and I've seen some growth in the first 20 games, but there's lots more there because it's not just we just want to be competitive. We want to be a good team. Like we want to go into every game saying, hey, we got a chance to win. And when you play like we did the other night in San Jose, you're not giving yourself a good enough chance to win.